Kia listeners, Let's Learn Sumo. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Clayton. Thank you for joining me again. You can hear this on your favourite pod streaming service. We're now also included on YouTube Music, so you can listen in the background of the podcast as per normal. And we're also on YouTube. Welcome to day one of the Nagoya Summer Basho, and we've had a few upsets. Some of the top Sanyaku look in pretty good condition, some don't. Big news, we can get straight into it. Terunofuji, our Yokozuna, is back, and he notched up a win against a hard-fighting Shin Komusubi Hiradumi, big belly man. But he looked pretty comfortable doing it as well, which is pretty good news for the Basho. No signs of forced or laboured movement from the Yokozuna there. Hiradumi, we'll get back into that fight in a minute. Losses to Battle Hamster Takakosho, who didn't look too fantastic, didn't look awful. Hoshoryu, he seemed to get stuck looking for one technique, and Abi got a loss as well. Wins to Kirishima, who had to fight hard to get his win over Takayasu. Wakamoto Haru got a rare win over Abi, and Daisho took a win over Ozeki Kotozakura. Let's have a look at some of those matches in detail. Our Yokozuna Terunofuji, he's back this tournament. Has been doing a few bouts on and off over the off period. Nothing too dramatic. I think he did about 9 bouts the other day and got a few wins and a few losses up. He faced Shin Komusubi, new Komusubi Hiradumi. That's his first time at Komusubi, and since he joined, he's now 24. He joined when he was 16 in sumo, and it's taken him this time to get up to the rank of Komusubi like his Oyakata. Anyway, Hiradumi, he came out and he fought hard. He went straight for that front belt grip as off the touchy eye. Terunofuji, as always, locked up his right arm. Hiradumi got a deep right belt in the end and held it as he pushed, and he got pushed back to the bales. Look, he escaped as Terunofuji tried to turn Hiradumi over. He went lateral, didn't quite work, and he got the Yokozuna back to the middle of the dohyo. Terunofuji got a grip on Hiradumi's belt, and he held the struggling Hiradumi as he wiggled around the dohyo, got that arm locked up, and he got a bit of a drive going, got Hiradumi back to the bales, and Hiradumi just couldn't stop that Yorikiri frontal force out. Look, that was impressive by Hiradumi, but similarly, Terunofuji's effort shows he's in pretty reasonable health and form for that win, so looking good for a few more days of the tournament at the very least. Ozeki Kotozakura, well, he dropped a match against Komusubi Daisho. Now remember, Daisho is down at Komusubi because he dropped to Magashira, got plenty of wins at Magashira 1, but they only promoted him back to Komusubi, which is a little bit unusual. And I can only think that this loss to Daisho is why, and probably symptomatic of why, Kotozakura has yet to win a Yusho. Dropping this sort of match, certainly against a former Sekiwake Senyaku wrestler, is not stunning of itself, but if he wants to win a Yusho, these are the early matches that Kotozakura has to win. And he did not look like he was going to win this match. Daisho got a pretty good, decent drive going off the touchy eye, forced Kotozakura back. Daisho got a really good, decent belly thrust at one stage as he tried to get Kotozakura back. Kotozakura tried to move a bit lateral, got a little bit diagonal, and Daisho just finished him off over the bales for an Oshidashi frontal push out. A little bit too easy, if you ask me. Hoshoryu, our other Ozeki, seemed to lose a bit of sumo sense tonight. He lost to Magashira Atami Fuji, who's been floating around the joy for a little while now, and certainly improving his strength, I would say. I know previously I've talked about Atami Fuji and his strength has not been quite there. It seems to be improving because he got onto a decent grip on Atami. Hoshoryu got a decent double grip on Atami Fuji, and he kept trying for the Iwatanage throw, the belt throw, about 5 times without success, and he just kept at it all the way through the match. They locked up for a little while, kept Atami to a single belt grip, but Atami Fuji eventually went on the offensive as Hoshoryu tried for a leg wrap to get Atami off balance. Our Atomic Atami used his bulk to force Hoshoryu over the bales. Hoshoryu was trying a last desperate move as he went towards the bales, kind of tripped himself up, lost his footing as he went for that last move. Yorikiri, and Hoshoryu loses that first one. Another upset as the fairly undercooked battle hamster Takakeisho, who is Karaban Ozeki at this stage, he was taken out by Meisei. A really hard head clash at the Tachioi. Now, won't do Takakeisho any good with his ongoing neck injuries, and I think every one of those hits is going to force him closer to retirement in time as he takes constant pounding, and they will compound over time. Meisei got a pretty good drive going forward, got a pretty good strong belt as Takakeisho tried to defend. He lost the belt and he got it back again as a kind of forced Takakeisho back, and over the bales he went. Big loss first up, and I doubt Takakeisho will see out this tournament, or certainly I don't think he'll be escaping Karaban, I think, for about the 10th time here. I think going on what I saw tonight, unless he improves significantly, that's not looking like something that will happen. Takakeisho did say that he hadn't been doing many bouts in practice over the time. He's coming into this tournament a little bit undercooked. That is dangerous for someone who is a Karaban. Wakamoto Haru, he got an important and probably a little bit rare win against his nemesis Abi. Abi's beaten him many, many times. Abi went in very hard at the Tachioi, went for the big double Nodowa neck thrust on Wakamoto Haru. Wakamoto resisted and went for a bit Oshizumo on him and forced Abi back over the bales. Abi's defensive movement, to me, was a bit too jumpy as he bounced probably backwards, similar to what Ura used to do a little bit too much. I think they need to plant their feet a little bit better, get a little bit more of a stable base. Anyway, Oshidashi push out, Abi for the loss, Wakamoto Haru for the win. Defending Yusho champion from May, Onosato was up against Mitakayumi. Mitakayumi showed himself to be very fast and very powerful off the Tachioi. Big drive by Mitakayumi, had Onosato on the defence straight up. Mitakayumi got a hand on Onosato's stomach, drove him up a little bit further, but he just couldn't get anything going. Onosato went backwards for the loss, looked up to the heavens for a bit of inspiration after a Yorikiri frontal force out. Kirishima, now Sekiwake, who is now trying to get 10 wins to get himself straight back to Ozeki after his demotion. Now, bear in mind, he was up against the big bear Takayasu, even head-to-head, about 6-6, I think, from memory. Look, it's a pretty big test of Kirishima after his really poor 2024 so far. Obviously in January he got absolutely yeeted out of the dohyo by the Yokozuna. Then March and May he had some neck injury which just caused him no end of trouble, and that is why he's back in Sekiwake after being demoted from Ozeki. He needs those 10 wins to make it back to Ozeki. That's one of the privileges that Ozekis get. They get one chance to come back without having to do a 33-win Ozeki run. They get one go at 10 wins. Otherwise, if he fails to get 10 wins, he will return and stay at Sekiwake with the need to go on an Ozeki run to get back up again. Anyway, Takayasu, the bear, he is a good bet for this fight, even with a healthy Kirishima. Takayasu has experience at taking out these big names. Anyway, they went off to a start. Lots of thrusting, lots of movement around the ring. It was very much a test of dominance for the arms as they exchanged grips for quite a while, disengaged, re-engaged. Kirishima tried to force Takayasu out a few times. Then Kirishima got a hand under the belt and a bit of a palm strike on Takayasu's chest, forcing him to give up, and he got pushed out. Takayasu looked pretty winded, actually, from that chest hit. I don't think it was... I need to go back and watch that replay yet again. Kirishima, though, for his bet, looked a lot healthier. He did have to work very hard for that win. He moved fairly well. He wasn't in the greatest form, but certainly he looks a lot healthier than he did in May. Takayasu, for mine, actually looked a little bit slow there. He didn't look like he was quite in it for me from the word go. Anyway, let's have a look at him again tomorrow. I wouldn't count Takayasu out. Goniyama, he got an easy win over Tobizaru. Ura put on his usual acrobatic display for a win over a very disappointed Onosho. A little bit of crazy circling off balance stuff, which ended in a Hatakikomi slapdown. Onosho was pretty fast off the Tachiai and went pretty hard at Ura. Ura was on the defensive and got pushed back to the bales. He kind of asserted himself a bit and came forward again. Onosho went for the big grab at the back of Ura's head to pull him off balance, and Ura goes on one leg, moves sideways, hopping on the leg, but he recovered somehow. He also got a smack to his face for his troubles, but as he got back, Onosho was just a bit too committed, and Ura slapped him down, Hatakikomi, for the win. Our first judging error for the tournament, I would say, with Oho getting a win over Koto Shoho. Oho won Yori Tayoshi frontal force down at the bales. Big Tachiai, big massive hit, big thrusting as Oho went around the body of Koto Shoho and forced him back. They locked up and twisted over the bales. The match went to Oho. No Shimpan judges, no Mono-E. But in the replay shortly thereafter, it showed that Oho touched his forearm before Koto Shoho touches out. Judges missed that one, and I say for Koto Shoho's benefit, he did well to keep his foot in, but the judges missed it. Without another replay from a different angle, a little bit hard to see whether Koto Shoho's foot went inverted, similar to what Kirishima did, I think last year. His foot kind of dragged across the top, and maybe that was the point. But certainly if you just looked at where they touched, Oho certainly touched first, but he gets the win and the envelopes. Sadnoumi, he beat Ryuden with a pretty fantastic Suki Anage. He was in trouble there for a while and took a great body throw on Ryuden. Tamawashi got a pretty easy win over Shodai. Midori Fuji showed some really excellent pace and movement and got a Hatakikomi win over fairly lackluster Ichi Yamamoto. It really depends on which day Ichi Yamamoto turns up. He can be so good, but sometimes he just seems to all fall apart for him. Midori Fuji, for mine, he was really good movement and showed his usual pace there. I think at down in Megashira 11-12, he's a little bit underranked there, but his results recently haven't gone his way. Asanayama, he returned to the dojo after his May injury, and Kujo, he's in the lower Megashira 12 position, and again, another wrestler who shouldn't be that low. He gets a fairly easy win over a very poorly operating Nishikigi. I'm not sure what's gone wrong for Nishikigi in the last year, but he cannot afford to drop much further. He will be on the Juryo barge. Something has changed from last year, and it just isn't working for him. We might go a little bit of a deep dive on Nishikigi over the last 18 months and have a bit of a sticky beak at all of his matches and see where it's gone wrong. A little bit of a hiccup return for our former Sekiwake, Wakataka Kage. Say that 5 times. He's returning to Makuuchi for the first time in a year after he had the ACL knee injury. He lost to Takara Fuji. Now, remember, Takara Fuji was in pretty good form going through May tournament. Ran out a little bit of a steam at the end. And maybe some nerves for Wakataka Kage. He got a little bit too committed. Ended up being pulled off balance, went forward, caught himself, and then was in a very poor position, got pushed out. Okuridashi rear push out, not his best moment. Endo got his first loss. Hokuto Fuji lost to Churanumi, and Juryo visitor, former Makuuchi from May, Toki Hayate, he lost to a pretty well-fought Nishiki Fuji, if I could say that. He did well tonight. I was impressed by his fight. So an interesting day in the Dolphin Stadium for the last time in Nagoya. A new stadium next year is coming. If I was going to watch a couple of matches, I would probably watch maybe Kirishima and Takayasu. I'd probably watch Ura again against Onosho, and definitely Atami Fuji and Hoshoryu. They're worth watching as well. It's pleasing to see our Sanyaku back in action, and this tournament is open for the taking. It should be very interesting over the next 2 weeks. Join me again as I post updates throughout the tournament in the best time I can do. As I said, this is just me doing this, so it does take a little bit of time and effort to put together, so please be patient, and I will come back with updates as time and life allows. Hakiua listeners, enjoy the tournament. Let's learn sumo.